Recording in progress.
All right. Is everybody ready already?
Yep.
Ready.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's hit it. Hello, and welcome back to our humble little podcast. This is Atlantis After Dark, the greatest place in all of cyberspace. I got gas today for $2.35. Unfortunately, it was a Taco Bell. I'll tell you guys what, I'm ready to go already. You guys are too, so let's not waste a whole lot more time. Let's get right into it and meet today's All-Stars. Warming up in the bullpen. Yesterday, he told me my favorite sex position is called wow. And I said, really? Never heard of it. He said, yeah, that's where I flip your mom over upside down. It's BIFF by Adam West. What's the word, dude?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. You don't have a clever, witty yo mama joke for us? I figured you were going to have something for us, but no, you don't have a...
No, I do like my mom's, though.
Okay. That's duly noted, sir. Duly noted. Welcome back to the show. Glad to have you back. Next up, he is the Sorcerer Supreme of cyberspace. This guy sat next to him on a train to Chattanooga. He pulls a picture of his wife out and shows it to him. He says, look at her. Isn't she beautiful? He said, if you think she's beautiful, you should see my wife. The stranger said, well, why? Is she smoking hot too? And he said, no, she's an optometrist. It's Retpmus. What's happening, Big Kahuna?
That was a good one. Doing great. A little tired today, but
yeah,
you were ready to go.
You were up at 5 a.m. is when you went to bed.
Yeah, my wife came in and was like, honey, it's like 5 a.m.
Right. I'm guessing that she actually got a full night's sleep, whereas you are getting about 3 or 4 hours. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm sorry for that, bud.
Oh, nothing to be sorry about. It's my own choice.
Well, regardless, we look forward to your input today. We are damn glad to have you. Welcome back to the show.
Glad to be here.
All right. Up next, he's the gangster of ganja. The other day, he went to the doctor for a rectal exam. The doc told him, just relax, no need to worry. It's perfectly normal to get an erection during the exam. He looks up and says, but I don't have an erection. The doc says, I wasn't talking about you. It's Sekju. Welcome, sir.
Oh, man. My colorectal doctor's one of my favorite doctors, too. Now I'm going to be looking at him sideways every time I go back.
You were accosted, sir.
Oh, no. He's actually a great doctor. I wish he could be my primary care physician. My PCP fucking sucks. Anyway,
Right.
I'm happy to be here. Love you guys. Missed you all. And very excited for today's show.
Nice.
I mean, you listeners, too. I love and miss you, too.
Yeah. Everybody.
Some of you.
Some of it. Well,
I miss talking to Sandy. Actually, I passed some Skyline chili at the grocery store the other day, and I literally immediately thought of Sandy Charter. And I was like, oh shit, I wonder what Sandy's up to these days.
I don't know if that's a compliment. I walked past some Skyline chili and thought of Sandy Charter.
Well, Cincinnati, that's the best. Sorry, that's what I connect in my head.
Have you ever had Cincinnati chili?
No, because I'm from Pittsburgh, and I won't touch anything Cincinnati.
Right. Okay. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, or Cleveland for that matter.
It looks like the contents of a dirty diaper. It's terrible.
It does.
Anytime you see something on a chili on a pile of spaghetti that's advertised as spaghetti chili, just makes me stand there and question the universe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I got nothing against people from Cincinnati, but you eat some fucked up shit.
Yeah. And they cheer for the Bengals.
We can't all be perfect, right? Oh, God. Welcome back to the show, pal. Glad to have you. And last but not least, from the hidden isle of Themyscira. She's been gone a long time. She's been gone so long. You know why? Because she got a new job as a stewardess. On her first day, as the plane reached cruising altitude, the captain got on the intercom and started going through his usual shtick, that whole routine. Hey, this is your captain speaking. That whole routine, yeah. So when he was done, he thought he turned off the intercom, but the button stuck. And the captain said, "All right, Bob, I think I'm going to go take a shit, and I'm going to go fuck that new stewardess." She was so embarrassed, she darted to the front of the plane as fast as she could to let them know the mic was still on. And when she did, an old woman stopped her and grabbed her arm and said, "No need to rush, dearie. He said he has to take a shit first." It's Witty Amazon. What's happening out there on Paradise Island?
It's great. Glad to be back. By the way, I loved your hint at a new Taco Bell sponsorship. Are we officially done with Subway, by the way? I thought we were
Right.
Subway guys.
Well, we were. I don't know. Are we?
Well, we've talked enough about Baja Blast on
Yeah.
this show with Mountain Dew, so we've definitely set the seeds to grow into trees with Taco Bell.
There you go. Well, maybe we could move into the new sponsorship. I mean, I like Taco Bell.
Que quieres?
Yeah, Yo quiero Taco Bell. What were some of the other famous quotes there or slogans they had? Eat here and get gas.
I just remember the little chihuahua.
That might be the
The
best
little
one.
chihuahua.
The Chihuahua. Eat here and get gas is the best one. All right. But no, in all seriousness, it's damn glad to have everybody, well, not everybody, but I mean, a good portion of you guys back for a fantastic show we're going to have today, including some Elseworlds fun, which we can get into here in just a little bit. And I kind of feel bad because I've been giving these guys assignments, right, in our writer's room on our Discord channel. I've been giving them assignments every so often, every episode we're going to have. Tell them, hey, I want you to do this, you know. If you could ask Batman any one question, what would it be? Things like that, you know. And they have to come up with a clever, creative answer for it. And this is one that made it to air, and I just took for granted that everybody in here knew what I meant when I said Elseworlds. And poor Biff is over there scratching his head like, what the hell is he talking about, probably? And I just want to say, I'm sorry, dude. I didn't mean to.
You know what? I broke my own rule. I have a rule that I constantly bash home to my wife and my mother, who both of them think I am Google for some reason. So whenever they ask me a question, I always say, "Did you ask the Google first?" Because they treat me like I know everything, and so I tell them, "I'm not going to answer you unless you've asked the Google first." And once you said something like DC Canon and Elseworlds, and I'm like, I have no fucking clue what this guy's talking about. But then you explained to me what you're talking about, and then when I Googled DC Canon, Elseworlds, or whatever, it came up beautifully and very succinctly and very where I was like, oh, you know what? I just broke my own rule, and it would have been very easy for me just to Google it versus sarcastically ask AB what the fuck he's talking about. And it was actually awesome because I looked, when I Googled it, it came up with a wiki page, and it just listed every single comic that could apply, and I was on my way, and I had a blast doing it.
Nice. Well, I'm glad, and that's what I'm really here to say is I'm glad if this brought you guys, some of you who haven't read comics in a while or are not avid comic readers, and I include myself in that. I'm just getting back into the swing of things here, but
by the way, you guys would be proud of me. So I went to my local comic book store to look for a couple different episodes I found on that wiki, and I explained to the owner of the store my homework assignment, and he said, "Oh, he's like, any other ones other than these two, because I might have trouble finding them." And then he started trying to give me all these Superman and Supergirl ones. And I was just like, dude, you don't understand. Like, we have Superman people that are doing this assignment. I need to stay in my lane. I can't show up with a Superman story. So I said, stick to these couple Batmans I asked you for and see if you can locate them. And one of them he couldn't find, and he didn't think he had the other one. And then the guy was looking for like a half hour. I felt bad for him. And then all of a sudden he runs out of the back room saying, I got it. And that's actually the one that I chose. So I'm really happy he found it, because it was a really awesome story. And I enjoyed, for the first time in a long time, the homework assignment.
Good
mean,
deal.
I think technically, can any story that is not canon be considered an Elseworlds story?
I suppose it can, and that's kind of why I opened the birth up a little bit, because I didn't want to keep it just to Elseworlds. As long as it doesn't affect canon, I think it qualified, or it counts.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was.
Ooh. What about stories though that were previously Elseworlds that were then folded into canon?
Oh, give me an example.
Now we're getting too.
Yeah, now we're getting too technical.
I'm just saying,
but-
like Kingdom Come for a long time was a
Oh,
standalone
that's
thing.
right. Okay.
But then they folded it into canon whenever they had Gog and Magog show up in the Justice
Right.
Society and everything. So like that's now
Right.
part of canon, even though it was famously one of the greatest Elseworld stories.
Yeah.
Well, Kingdom Come hasn't been made into a movie, so
hasn't
I,
been, yeah.
I think
Fair.
it's fair game.
Okay.
Yeah, and it probably should be, because if you ask me,
Oh,
that would be a
yeah.
hell of a movie. It'd be expensive to make.
I actually have an audio story of Elseworlds. I have to dig it up. It's been a long time, but this group got together and did like a live podcast type play, and they all had voice actors to do every character while they're telling the story. It was very, very good.
Was
It
that
was
like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
but
go
was that-
ahead.
Was that like a motion comic where they'd show the panels of the comic while people were reading?
No, this was just audio only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was really cool. I need to find it, and I don't even remember where I got it at the time. I think it was something maybe that was on sale back in the day on like Apple or something, like one of their little podcasts that you could buy. I don't even know if it was a podcast, but it seemed like in that type of format, it was like so and so presents, and then they would say
Yeah.
the name of the story.
Well,
But I need to find that because it was fantastic.
do you guys have Netflix?
Yeah.
Did anyone see on Netflix they did something like that with The Flash? There was like a
Yeah, I
4-part
saw that.
audio series that was like a Flash story, something in the Midnight Circus, I think, like that. I don't know.
Mhm.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's exactly like you were saying. All they had was a Flash logo on the screen, and then audio work behind it the whole time. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but just mentioning it out there for anybody interested.
Interesting. Right? It
More
seems like
listening to it than watching it.
right.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's Netflix, so you're staring
Yeah.
at a screen icon of the Flash logo. Like, you can't just listen to Netflix.
Yeah.
It's
You're pretty
gotta be on
cool.
a screen
Oh,
somewhere.
that has to be a multitasking thing.
Yeah.
Where you're doing
Yeah.
something around the house. And you turn it
Yeah,
on
like
Netflix,
you're
so
gonna
you-
vacuum and you
Yeah.
just turn it up real loud.
Yeah.
So since we're all in a comics talking mood, I don't even think we've talked about what the homework assignment actually was yet. So our listeners are probably going, what are they talking about? So let me hit the gong and let's welcome everyone. Let's talk about some DC content. And the homework assignment this podcast was, what Elseworlds story or other non-canon comic would you most like to turn into a film? And we're talking, live action, film. And it can be done in any kind of style you want, but it has to be made into a Hollywood film, right? I didn't say blockbuster, I said film. So important to note. I'm giving you guys more loopholes.
Gotcha.
So, I don't know. It sounds like you guys have all had a lot of fun doing your homework. I don't know who I want to hear from first. Does anybody want to volunteer to go?
I'll go first.
Yes, Retpmus.
All
Right out the gate, pal.
There was a character, you know how I'm a Dr. Fate fan.
Yes.
There was a character, I'm trying to remember, it might have been like in the late 80s, maybe like 80, 86, 87-ish is when this character, I think was introduced. I could be wrong. I just remember I thought it was really cool. Basically, there was a search for a new Dr. Fate. Basically, the helmet was trying to find someone new, right? And it was like all being trapped with like the helmet and the cloak and the amulet, all the mystical items that Dr. Fate had was like it was like being stored. I can't remember exactly where it was stored, but like someone had a hold of these items. And this guy named Jared Stevens was tasked to get these. He was like a special forces type of guy, and he would go in and he would try to retrieve these items. He basically, found the location, goes in, and he gets these items, right? But this demon like appears. And I think his name might have been, I think it was Kingdom was the guy's name. It was weird for a demon, but his name was like Kingdom, right? And he's like, he attacks, Jared and stuff because he wants that power too, right? And Jared tried to use like the amulet, to try and protect himself. And there was an explosion from the power because he couldn't control it. And it like destroyed like his arm and stuff. It's like, it basically killed it and everything. And so basically what he did, he grabbed like the cloak and wrapped his arm around the cloak, to stop it from, being hurt. And then all of a sudden his arm was completely normal, but like super powerful. And he was able to use like these artifacts to take him down. And then later on, that explosion actually made an Ankh tattoo over one eye. And it was kind of cool to see that, that Ankh symbol. But he melted down the helmet and turned it into like a dagger and like throwing stars, but they were like little mini Ankh throwing stars. So he was like this assassin, like think of like if Batman had mixed with like Dr. Fate in a fighting style, and he would like throw out these, Ankh spears, or not spears, but like throwing stars at enemies, but it would have all the mystical powers, and it was just such a cool story because, he had the daggers and he had those Ankh throwing stars, and he was able to defeat that that demon and everything. And Naboo wanted him to join, but he didn't want to have anything to do with it. But he does later on become a member of the Justice Society. I do remember that. In the comic books, he does end up getting killed by some wizard named Mordru, I think. But the concept of the character was kind of cool, where he like re-implemented Dr. Fate's, mystical items into like more of like a modern day martial art type of weaponry and use those, with that combination. I just think it would make a really cool action flick, but have that supernatural element to it.
Nice. I can see like what I think you had me sold when you talked about, the I'm trying to think of how you called them. It's like batarangs, like mystical batarangs.
The Ankhs,
the
the
Ankhs.
ninja Ankhs.
Yeah. That would be so cool to see. Whatever special effect they could put on that, sort of like what they did with the Dr. Fate glass stuff. That's what I imagine that it would be, just zapping him into another dimension with glass or whatever. So cool.
Yeah, I just thought it's something that was out there. It was just like one of those stories that were like it was in the back of my mind that I thought was really cool, and they could have explored it. But, of course, it destroys the helmet and the cloak and, all that stuff. Like he repurposed them into weapons. So kind of like there is no more Dr. Fate ever because of that. But I still like it was a cool concept.
Anybody have any thoughts?
I think that'd be a cool like movie to see, like action style, and like just I think that'd be cool if it focused more on like more of like a street level mystical hero versus like saving the world type of hero. I think that would be like a cool use of Dr. Fate's powers at the street level, like cleaning up a city or something like that. Kind of like, like Marvel does with like a Daredevil or an Iron Fist, like a street level character that has powers and is very cool. I think that would work.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically how he was too. He didn't want any part of the big overall, superhero thing. And I mean, eventually he was still sucked into it, but that wasn't his goal at the beginning. So it could have been like an earlier version, like, just when he was out, doing basically what you were saying, like cleaning up the streets and things like that. Just a different take on someone that nobody's probably ever heard of, but I thought it was kind of a cool.
It would actually be something new for us to
Yeah.
to watch a proper movie with Dr. Fate, and the effects, knowing that the kind of power he has, the effects would be amazing. So I think he's easily one of the top tier heroes we would love to see on the screen. I mean, we've got a little taste with Black Adam, but I mean, I would like a proper Dr. Fate film. So I'm behind you on that.
Yeah.
Man, throwing stars and mystical daggers.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
That's what I said. I'm like, that sounds cool to me. It's like you tie that together with like this this reluctant hero or this anti-hero, if you will. And it sells itself. I mean,
We're easy to please.
yeah. Very easy to please.
Just give us the stuff we want.
That's right.
That's it.
Everybody
right.
wants something different, unfortunately.
Oh my God. Well, listen, Sekju, can you top that, buddy?
I don't know if I can top it. This was a hard topic for me because I love so many different Elseworld stories, and as Biff was saying, I kind of see myself as the expected Superman guy if I'm going to have to bring in one that I'm going to use. But one that I don't know if it's really so much Elseworlds as it is a less commonly known part of the DC universe. I love the Dial H for Hero comic books.
Yes.
So I feel like something like that would translate really well into a movie. Like, who doesn't love the concept of the everyman becomes a hero by circumstance? Like, some of the best superhero, as kitschy as they may be, movies out there were born of that. Like, I don't know how many people have seen like Meteor Man from the 90s when the dude gets hit with like a meteor
yeah.
in the chest and somehow gets superpowers from it. But it's a great movie and it has a good message and everything throughout the movie. And just other fun movies where it's like Blank Man with Damon Wayans and stuff, where it's just an everyman that's a gadget
Right.
hero. So like, I just love the Dial H concept because anybody could be a hero. You don't know what powers you're going to get and you only have them for a limited amount of time. So I just think that would translate well into probably more of a comedy style superhero movie.
Yeah.
But I think it could be a lot of fun. But if I had to pick like an Elseworld story that I thought would translate well into like a big blockbuster cinema or just a movie that people might be interested to see, and since I am the Superman guy, think I'm gonna go with Superman: The Dark Side, because that is you know, like every other Superman Elseworld story, it's like, let's see where we can drop his rocket off and see how that changes his whole story. So in this particular one, Darkseid intercepts the rocket on the way to Earth, and he ends up being raised on Apokolips essentially as a son of Darkseid. So it makes for a very interesting difference, but also brings in that whole cinematic element of the new gods, and Darkseid is like a chief rival and huge big bad villain that even those I know the fan community was largely divided on the Justice League Snyder cut and all that stuff, but I think one thing everybody was really excited about was the fact that Darkseid was going to be in live action, and Darkseid is like, you know, the Thanos to Marvel people. Like, that's a big deal. And I think that that would be a big draw for the movie, not to mention all the other New God characters that could be in there too.
Yeah.
And it's a story that touches on people liking the fact that an evil Superman somehow makes for a compelling story, but this is an evil Superman who still finds his roots in good and ends up being good by the end of it. So I really like that story, and I think it would translate well into a Superman movie, you know, as Elseworld stuff goes.
I think you're right, for the record. I mean, I want to see that. That sounds awesome.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I mean, there's other fun stuff too. Like, I think in that one, Superman ends up with Barda instead of Lois Lane.
Hey.
Yeah, she's just kind of like
know?
a side character with Jimmy Olsen in Metropolis whenever he ends up there. It's just it's a different take on the whole thing. There's no sweet farm boy persona to him, which, you know, if you're a fan of Clark Kent, you're probably not going to like that story as much. I am a fan of Clark Kent, but I don't mind, you know, changes to the narrative for the sake of creative liberty. But I think it would make for a good movie.
I think so too.
I would definitely go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would make for a big blockbuster. The first one you mentioned, Dial H for Hero, was it?
Yeah,
I think the concept would be a good like you said, a good comedy, but I think also would be the perfect concept for a TV show.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
episodic. Yep. Different person gets the dial every episode.
Yes.
That would be fun.
Right. That'd be great.
Or a streamer. Are you listening? HBO or not HBO, just Max now or whatever
Right.
you are. Discovery Max, Warner
Warner.
Brothers. Are you listening?
Discovery.
That could be a great streaming concept.
Hey,
Could
remember,
be.
remember the great American hero?
Oh, you mean the
Yes.
greatest American hero?
Yep.
Yeah.
The greatest American hero.
Yeah, with Ralph Hinckley.
Believe.
Yeah,
I'm
the dude
look at myself.
crashing through the.
Finally, I'm
Why didn't they ever make that a
world.
movie?
I don't know.
That
Maybe
sucks.
because of what Witty said, is that maybe that's more set up in an episodic
Well,
format.
I had the whole series of that. The
Yeah.
guy's name was William Catt that played Ralph Hinckley.
Right.
I love that series. And I like Bill Maxwell. You know,
Yeah,
his
Bill Maxwell is the FBI agent guy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I really liked him. I don't know if there was because they were going to make a new series, and they were going to pass on that suit to a woman, and she
Right.
was going to be the new hero because the deal that he made with the aliens at the beginning, like he was never supposed to reveal like how he got the powers or who he was or let it go to his head. Like, you know, he couldn't use it for personal gain.
Right.
And I don't know if this was a spinoff because it had a special episode like the pilot of the new series, which failed and it never came to light. So I don't know if the original series left off that way and he let it go to his head, but in that new one, it went to his head and he like it basically like the Boys TV series, you know, he was like having action figures made of him, shirts and all this stuff. And then they forced him to, you know, pass on the suit or humanity would never have it. So that's what I'm saying. I don't want to get that confused with the original ending. I cannot remember if the original ending that happened or it was just on a cliffhanger. But I love the series. It was hilarious just because he couldn't fly and it was like slamming into buildings and crashing.
You lost the
and-
instruction book.
I know he left it
If
right. I think it was on a football field, wasn't it?
It was like,
where
it was
he
like on
met
a
the
rock in
aliens?
the desert or something.
Oh yeah, something. Yeah,
Because
It
he
was
I
just
mean, he
laying
could
there.
fly. He just couldn't control it.
right. That's it. He could fly. He couldn't
That's it.
control
He
it.
was-
Yeah.
He had no problem flying. He had problems landing.
I do remember his girlfriend was what was it? Pam, I think was her name.
Yeah.
He learned the power of compulsion with the suit. And I remember every time she would get mad, he would use that power to calm her down. And she would get even madder because it would only last for a second. And then he was like, I'm hungry. He's like, won't you make me a sandwich? And he was like, sure, what would you like on that? And she starts to get up and makes the sandwich. And she gets so ticked that she starts hitting him. It's hilarious. It was a great
Yeah,
show. We
it
need
was
we
a
need
good
fun
show.
shows like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dial H for hero.
Dial H
There
for
you go.
hero. There you
Yes.
go. Back to
Dial
the...
H for hero.
So let me encapsulate because I want to make sure we get to everybody here. But so far we've got an anti-hero / Dr. Fate film with magic batarangs shaped
Jared
like inks.
Stevens.
And it what now?
Jared Stevens is the character's name.
Jared Stevens.
Yes.
And we have the
Dial H.
Apocalypse. Well, right.
yeah.
Dial
Sorry.
H for hero. But the Superman Apocalypse. What is it called?
Superman: The Dark Side.
The Dark Side. Yes.
Mhm.
Which I'm going to add that to my reading list here post haste. That sounds fantastic.
It's
What
good.
if
It's a quick one too. It's only 3 issues, so it's pretty quick.
What
Oh,
if
nice.
Superman landed in Themyscira?
Oh, he would love it.
Oh.
I don't think they've done that one yet.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah. Just think how twisted that could be. That could be definitely
Yeah.
an HBO Max series.
That'd be pretty crazy.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how the Amazonians would respond to that because it's not like a man landing on their shores.
Right.
It's a rocket from space landing
Right.
on their island. Like, what is this all about?
Yeah. I mean, that kid doesn't have a choice, you know?
Right. Right. And to see him raised like as a warrior versus like a peaceful farm boy, that would be interesting too. To just like, holy moly, what could he do with that training?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
What if Jared Stevens landed on Themyscira and the training they have with throwing stars and daggers? He would be unstoppable.
Well, they might just kill his ass if he's a grown guy landing on the island.
Yeah. Some good luck, buddy.
Oh man.
It's like one of those uncontactable tribes. As soon as your foot settle on the beach, you've got about 10 spears through your chest. Anyways, who wants to go next? God, this is fun.
I mean, I'll go next.
Yes, Witty.
At first I went pretty basic because this is one of the few comics I've actually read, and it is Flashpoint. But since you said it's supposed to be a big movie adaptation, I don't know if the Flash counts as a big movie adaptation for this storyline because they didn't exactly follow it.
Yeah.
But I think as a concept for any comic book fan, it would be very easy to follow, and it's one of my favorite stories from DC ever, and it's very easy to follow. and it features one of my favorite versions of Wonder Woman, and the whole fight against the Atlanteans. So that would be pretty cool to see, that whole Wonder Woman versus the Atlanteans. That would be one of my favorite things to see on the big screen. But since the Flash movie actually came out, and I might actually have to toss that idea, so I got a second title to this assignment, which was Batman in Darkest Night, which is Batman gets the Green Lantern ring and becomes the Green Lantern of Earth.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And they actually
good
pitch
one.
him against Sinestro. I think it would touch two different fan bases, and it would actually make for great visual effects, a grandiose storyline, and it would, call a lot of fans to the theaters, I think.
I think that's a great choice.
I do too.
Especially when you consider like the subtext with comics fans between Hal Jordan and Batman, how there has always been tension.
Yes.
It was a huge deal in Hal Jordan's Rebirth when he fucking punches Batman in the face. like that was a big deal in that comic too. So I think that's a perfect choice, and that's one of those better I love it whenever Batman gets superpowers in those stories, or like a ring or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a great movie. I would watch that, absolutely. Great choice, Witty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
no
mean,
doubt.
Batman always bangs, but just had something a little different, and it would actually appeal to different fandoms. I think it would be perfect.
Yeah. No doubt.
Agreed.
And
Definitely.
I'm struggling to remember. Maybe you guys can help me, because it's been so long since I read that story actually.
You did?
Oh yeah. Years ago. Gosh, didn't he go to Corrigar to fight Sinestro, or did Sinestro come to Earth on that?
From what I've read, I think he came to Earth.
Okay. For some reason, I don't know why, but I had this image in my head of a panel of Batman with the lantern ring leaving Earth. I can't remember if he ever did or not.
I think he left at some point.
Yeah.
I didn't read it for the assignment. I mean, I think he left at some point.
Right.
But I think he fights Sinestro on Earth still. Yeah.
Okay. I think you're right. I just have a vivid memory of at some point he's.
That was his first assignment from the Guardians, but I can't remember if he fight him here on Earth or not.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry to put anybody on the spot there. I just, for whatever reason, the panel popped into my head, and it might even be thinking of a different comic. Who knows? But
yeah, I don't remember the story well enough to chime in. I just remember liking it, and I read it a long time ago.
Yeah, a long, about 15 years ago or so for me is when I read it. I mean, it's been a long time. So, but
yeah,
I agree.
You might be right.
But yeah, Green Lantern Batman was all kinds of awesome. What's not to love?
By the way, I got a Sinestro question for everybody. I don't know if everyone knows the answer, but is the cartoon, The Challenge of the Super Friends, the only Sinestro that has a blue suit?
No.
You mean when he has the blue Axix that's black and blue, right? Isn't it like a black
It's kinda
leotard,
like a
almost
grayish
with like
blue.
like fraying shit at the
It's
collar?
it's like two different shades of blue. It's like a navy and a lighter blue.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about. I know what Biff's talking about.
Yeah, no, I have the action figure of
yeah.
it because that cartoon
Yeah.
is my favorite. But like every time I see Sinestro in any other scenario, he's never wearing anything like that.
Yeah, I want to say in Justice League or in Justice League Unlimited, the Bruce Timm version, he was wearing an off-color get up in that cartoon at least once or twice. So it has happened, I think.
Yeah.
But that'd be the best.
Whenever I think of any Legion of Doom member, I think I picture the version from that.
Right.
You know, from that cartoon.
It's just such a shame that they wasted Mark Strong as Sinestro when he was such a perfect freaking casting in that Green Lantern movie that was just not good.
Oh, I
yeah.
know.
The casting of Mark Strong as Sinestro was so perfect,
Oh
and
god, yeah.
it's a shame that it got wasted and he never got to really shine in that role.
You know what? You know what that movie is perfect for? You know what makes that movie great?
A
Okay.
drinking game?
No,
Wait for it.
watching it on an airplane on your way to vacation. You're in a good mood.
Oh,
You're just
no.
trying to kill 2 hours, and you're happy. So just watch Green Lantern on an airplane on the way to a tropical getaway, and you will enjoy the fuck out of it.
I don't even dislike it. I think I hate like what could have been. Like I watched that movie and it's like it's not a great movie. I don't hate it, but I'm like, oh my god, they could have done so much more with this movie, this character. It just
Yeah, Retpmus is posting images of Sinestro.
Yeah, that's the glammed up version out there.
Right.
Because if you go to Google, it's just a freaking
yeah.
purple leotard with.
That's what I said. The leotard with some fancy like accents.
Yeah.
He wore that outfit when he first formed the Corps and then switched, according to the documentation I read.
Okay, so that was like his Cordian getup.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Very cool.
I do think the cartoon version is blue on blue, not black on blue. I'm pretty sure. But
Somebody
maybe I should
use the
follow my own
Google.
Yeah,
advice.
it's
and
blue on
ask the
blue.
Google.
Use the Google.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
ask the Google.
Consult
I
the
asked the
Oracle.
Google, it's blue on blue. This one looks more
But
glamorous.
coincidentally, that first screenshot is when he's shooting at Kyle Rayner, isn't it? From Green Lantern Rebirth, the same story where Hal Jordan punches Batman in the face. I'm pretty sure that the image I'm looking at, Retpmus. Yes.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
was look- I
Well,
was
enough
look-
talking
I-
about pictures since people can't see them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was looking at the Super Friends version.
Wonderful podcasting.
Hey,
Yeah.
can you throw that? Do you have to get licensing rights to throw that one picture
Probably.
on the podcast so people know what the hell we're talking about?
Oh boy.
Go buy Green Lantern Rebirth. Go look for a picture of Sinestro holding a arrow with his ring, basically, and,
Right.
and he's about to shoot it, and
Right.
you'll know the picture we're talking about.
Oh my goodness. Who's left?
We got the Biff
Just
man.
me.
Biff.
Well, me and you.
Oh well, I don't know about
Yeah.
me, but Biff.
Yeah. So I had a lot of fun with this. And I think me and Sekju are of equal minds here, where I kind of looked at two. One more fun and funny and just lighthearted, and one more dark. And it's funny, you said I could use the Batman 66 comics
Yes, sir.
just because they were out there. They were just different. But I wasn't going to do it unless it really fits into kind of the Elseworlds kind of thing where it's a different time.
Right.
So I started looking through my multiple volumes of Batman 66 because I have them all. And I got to my first King Tut one. And oddly enough, this Batman 66 comic takes place in 1292 BC. So it absolutely fit the thing where King Tut, they're in modern day Gotham, but King Tut, through an exhibit, an Egyptian museum exhibit, gets inside of a pharaoh's coffin or whatever they call those mummified things,
Sarcophagus?
and somehow that transports him and his goons back to 1292 BC, and Batman chased him through it. So
Wow.
just picture this. Can it be the dynamic duo has chased King Tut all the way back to 1292 BC? You know, like, and it's just a really goofy it's so perfect for Batman 66. Like the way they write this is exactly like it would be on the TV show. Down to the thing that they get, how they get trapped and how they have to get out of it,
Mm-hmm.
is they're in a swamp with a bunch of crocodiles from the Nile. And Robin's like, how are we going to get out of this? And Batman goes, well, old chum, you know, you have to be prepared. So I changed my bat shark repellent to a crocodile repellent. Okay. And he goes, but I'm nervous. He's like, because I just thought that Tut would steal some crocodiles from the Gotham Zoo. I don't know if my repellent will work on Crocodylus Niloticus, which is the name for Nile crocodiles. So he uses the Nile crocodile repellent and it works. But then they get into more trouble because then hippos come over. And Batman in some years has not used his hippo call to get them sent away.
His
but
hippo
he
call.
uses it and it works. So he
What?
gets the hippos. He gets the crocodiles distracted and the hippos away, and then he comes back and foils the plan. But King Tut's plan in this thing is to go back to a pharaoh in 1292 BC and introduce a chocolate bar to him. And they loved it so much they traded a $5 chocolate bar for $10 million in gold in normal time.
Wow.
And then King Tut brought that back to Gotham.
It's a
Interesting.
hell of a plan.
Yeah.
Oh. And by the way, it's not even illegal.
No.
So Batman actually had to arrest King Tut on the grounds of breaking and entering the museum because he didn't steal anything. So it's a fascinating story.
That isn't
laugh out
bad.
loud. Laugh out loud funny, the whole thing.
Did
You
Tut
love
get
Batman
his 10
66.
million? Did he get the money or no?
Oh no, that gets seized.
By Bruce Wayne?
Yeah.
It gets added to the fortune.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Like, who do you turn that over to?
in a follow-up episode they have him go through the portal again and return it to the rightful owners. I don't know, but
He's secretly like Scrooge McDuck, just swimming in a pile of
Yeah.
gold.
but nothing like being prepared and changing your shark repellent to Crocodylus Niloticus.
Right? Because you have to get the genus and the species and the order right, or whatever it is.
Having the hippo call is pretty clutch though too. Like,
Well, why didn't he
because
just
then
wait till the hippos came and then the alligators could eat the hippos and then they get full and they go away and then he climbs down, he's done.
oh, dude, a hippo's
not
gonna
as good
fuck
story.
alligator
No,
up.
And-
hippos
okay,
are the
well,
most
then either way.
dangerous- Hippos are the most dangerous animal in
Yeah.
in
Do
that
not be
scenario.
trifling with the hippo.
Yeah, no. So they were out of the frying pan of the fryer when they got rid of the crocodiles. But the
Okay.
hippo call led the hippos away so they could run up the hill and then chase King Tut. It was,
Intense.
it would make for a wonderful film.
Well, I think we got another banger on our hands.
Yeah, but that's actually not my choice. I just had to do it because I did one goofy one. I have a better one.
Oh,
Okay.
you have another one. Okay.
I have another one. And this one starts out, and Witty will love this. It's another Batman. Whereas it starts out, it's set in the 1800s. And of course, how can any Batman story start out without Thomas and Martha Wayne being murdered? Because that's how it starts. But this time in the 1800s as a stagecoach robbery. And Bruce somehow gets away. So, but then after they kind of they show the death, so this is Gotham by Gaslight.
Nice.
And it begins in Vienna, Austria in 1889, where Bruce Wayne is a student of Dr. Sigmund Freud because he's trying to learn about the human mind before he goes back to become Batman. And then he goes back to Gotham after learning from Sigmund Freud, and he introduces Batman. This is like the first time Gotham has ever seen Batman. And the story is after going on a killing spree in London back in this timeline. Why am I losing track? Jack the Ripper comes over and comes to Gotham. So Batman is now trying to stop Jack the Ripper in Gotham, but no one yet knows what Batman really is. They think he's just like in a lot of stories. They think he's the bad guy. But there's this douchey commissioner. What's his name? Is the normal Gordon is just an inspector at that timeline, so his boss has it in for Bruce Wayne and frames Bruce Wayne as Jack the Ripper. Because Bruce Wayne was actually in London at the exact time of Jack the Ripper as well. So they frame him, arrest him. They do a sham of a court, you know, and they convict him of murder and sentence him to hang. So he's stuck in jail, getting ready to hang. And Inspector Gordon brings him the case files in jail, and he starts to analyze them and try to figure out the whole thing. And then Alfred actually busts him out of jail the night before he is set to hang, and he catches Jack the Ripper.
Wow.
And then there's a tie-in to who Jack the Ripper was and Thomas and Martha Wayne that I won't spoil if anyone wants to read it.
Nice, nice. I actually have that story coming to the house here next week, so
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to reading it.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it would make a great movie because you tie in an all-time serial killer that was never caught.
Have you watched the animated one?
No,
Oh, they have an animated Batman Gotham by Gaslight if you want to check it out.
Really?
really, where would I find that?
I don't know if it's on Max right now. Let me
Yeah,
check and
if
see if
it-
I can find
I'll
out where
check-
Maybe
I
if
can
it's
check
on
it out,
Max,
Max.
I'll watch Max. I'll be watching
It's
that.
on Max. Jesus, if I knew it was on Max, I wouldn't have read the damn comic. Me sitting there squinting with my old ass eyes.
Yeah, I know what I'm
Oh.
gonna do next.
It doesn't say on Google that
It's on
part of the
Max.
Oh, it
Is
is?
it?
Okay.
Cool.
Well, I will watch that after. this show.
Actually, all DC / Warner Brothers stuff, like the cartoon to movies that they make, you know, they're all on Max.
No, Retmus, a lot of it's been dropping off because they've been licensing
have.
them out to other streamers. Like I went to go watch some stuff the other day and it was gone.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, and I just looked online for specifically Gotham by Gaslight, and it doesn't list it as streaming on Max currently. Currently, it's showing, like if you go to the where to watch, it has on Google Play Movies and TV, Vudu, and Amazon Prime Video.
Really? I typed in Gotham by Gaslight and typed the word Max in, and it says watch Batman Gotham by Gaslight stream movies on HBO Max.
Oh, I have an idea. Why don't I just log? You guys keep talking. I'm gonna log into Max on my phone.
He's going to do it. This
Yeah,
is the
so-
hard-hitting research we do for you guys, by the way.
That's it.
But I love the idea of Sigmund Freud, Jack the Ripper, Batman, and of course you can't have a Batman live action film without Thomas and Martha Wayne getting offed
Right?
right at the beginning.
That has to happen. It's
So,
obligatory.
yeah, that has to happen.
It's mandatory, right?
Yeah.
we
So-
need that kind of knowledge too to understand how
All
the
right.
year is built.
I can just see the director now. All right, what I want you to do is I want you to get a close-up of Martha Wayne's pearls, and we're going to widen out to an establishing shot.
Yes. But they do a really good job of tying Jack the Ripper into the Thomas and Martha Wayne story at the end, which
Nice.
is kind of cool. Which is how Bruce solved the crime sitting in jail.
Nice. Nice. That is definitely a film that I would want to go and see.
You know,
And apparently I guess
I've always loved Batman, not just because of like his gadgets and stuff, but because he was like a modern day Sherlock. And I was always a fan of like Sherlock Holmes stories, you know, growing up. And it was just like, now I've got like this visualization of a Sherlock Holmes with all these cool gadgets, but knows martial arts as well. And, you know, and he's a force for good. And I mean, that's why I always liked Batman, just because of the detective stories, you know, how he had to solve everything.
Well,
'Cause
that's
he's
why I
just
like.
Go ahead.
That's why I like this one, because you know a lot of the other Batman stories you see him prepping to become Batman in martial arts settings or you know
Right.
fighting settings, and this one he's teaching his mind how
Mhm.
to understand human psychology,
know-
Yeah.
which is what turns him into a real detective.
Unfortunately, it does not appear that Gotham by Gaslight is currently on Max.
Well,
Okay.
boo.
Well, the
Yeah.
good
However-
the good news
however-
is we have the Google when this show is over, and we will be able to find it.
That's right.
There is, however, if you're interested, Batman the Doom that came to Gotham, which is a mashup of Batman with Lovecraftian mythology. So that's very dark.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, if you guys want to see a confused 80-year-old woman after the show, I might call my mom and ask her, "Hey, where does Gotham by Gaslight stream?"
What the hell are you talking about? Oh God. No,
That's a good one though.
that is a good one, and I would definitely shell out big bucks to go and see that if it was done right.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it'd make
if it
a good
was-
live action too. Like
Yeah,
the cartoon
right.
didn't really hit the story as well as the comic. It wasn't bad, but it definitely wasn't as good as the comic. So the comic done right
Yeah.
in live action could be a really good movie.
Well, and it's almost it's too dark for an animated. Like
Mhm.
it's a really like the two stories I just outlined are just such polar opposites. Like one is so fun and
hmm
like just funny and just like Adam West and Batman
Mhm.
66, which is why it was written that way. And this one was really dark because you're talking about women getting slaughtered and
Yeah.
infidelity, and you're talking all of these different things, that are really, really dark. That's really hard to do in a cartoon. But you could make an awesome movie on Gotham by Gaslight.
You definitely could. You
All right,
definitely could.
AB.
Gotham by Gaslight, brought to you by Taco Bell.
Now it's your turn.
What? It's my turn. My turn to do
Yeah.
what?
That's it.
Oh, I suppose you guys want to know what comics I picked. So I said in the writer's room that, my pick wouldn't be obvious. And I thought, swear to God, you guys all knew about my love of Superman Red Sun. And whilst, yes, I would love to see this being made into a film, I wouldn't want to see it made over into a film over the one I'm about to pick. And it might come out of left field for some people. Some people might be like, oh, I figured it, I knew it all along. But this would not be strictly an action film, right? This would be, what would it be? It would have to be like a sci-fi horror mystery dark comedy. Maybe that's the best way I can put it. But if you've ever read it and you've never read it, you owe it to yourselves to really check this thing out and envision the cinematic universe the way that I did. The comic book is called, and it's a Black Label comic, so it's not an Elseworld specifically, but it is outside the continuity of canon. It is called Batman Last Night on Earth. And it is just a fantastic, fantastic story. Has anybody on the panel read this, by the way?
Oh, I feel like I've read part of it, but not the whole thing. Is this the one where he carries around Joker's head in like a pail for a while?
Yes.
Yes, I have read this one.
Yes. Yes. So basically, here's the premise, right? And this is, if I was going to pitch this to Hollywood, this is how I do it. I would say, look, we all know Batman. We all love Batman, right? Only problem is Batman goes out on patrol one night, gets shot, and then wakes up 20 years later in the future. The only problem is he still feels young and relatively sane, but he gets woken up in Arkham Asylum, right? Which is where they send all the insane people. And basically everyone at Arkham tries to tell him, even Alfred tries to tell him that, look, your whole life has been a lie because you were the one who really killed your parents. You were the one who created the hellscape that is currently Gotham right now. To which Gotham was a hellscape. It was taken over by an overlord named, now it's escaping me. Omega. That's what his name was. I'm sorry, Omega. And basically, Omega had a plan. He had already enslaved Gotham City, right? He basically did Omega cut the head off of Darkseid and trap John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, and use the two of them in conjunction to create a field for which he could then remove free will from everyone in the world. And the only person who could stop it then would be Batman. It's obviously Gotham. And you'll see some friendly faces pop up. You'll see everyone from, Superman, which well, not really Superman, but Superman's robots. Lex Luthor wearing the Brainiac crown, which is interesting in and of itself. Wonder Woman, who controls the Amazons, and she has a different look. She has this hellacious mohawk on her head with the tiara, and she does not play. She does not kid around. Who else is in there? Green Lantern is in there, albeit
Kind
just
of like a
briefly.
Mad Max version of the DC universe.
Yes, it is. It's a
Yeah.
hellscape. It really is. That's why I said it would be sci-fi, because there is some science fiction-ish elements to it, some mishmashing things. Again, I don't want to spoil too many things if you guys want to read it, which I highly recommend. But no, the best part about this is, and this is why I think it's narrated by the Joker himself, which is just freaking hilarious. And I think my personal favorite part in the whole comic is when the Joker, who talks, by the way, his severed head is just in a lantern Batman carries around for whatever reason. He likes the company, I guess. but yeah, that's the thing that happens. And one of the pressing jokes in the whole comic is Joker is constantly asking Batman if he can be Robin. Can I be Robin? Can I be Robin? Now can I be Robin? Now can I be Robin? And it's freaking great. And the best part is when he finally gets to be Robin, he says, Bats, guess what? I did it. Never mind how he got it on his face, right? I did it. I found basically a pair of dirty underwear to use as his Robin mask. So now he's Robin, wearing a pair of soiled underwear. I just made me laugh my freaking butt off. That was the funniest damn thing. Rarely do I laugh out loud at comics like that. But when I saw that panel in Joker's text, which is, and if I can pull myself to read it here, would be, sorry, gang. I was working on my mask. It was fate. I was walking along and this grayish, sort of brownish too, cloth floated by. So I just poked a couple of holes and poked around the waistband and slipped it on my neck and ta-da! It's freaking hilarious. It's freaking hilarious. Tell me that as the punchline to one of many fantabulous jokes in this book would not land. That would be the funniest, darkest, most insane version of Batman you could possibly put on the big screen. And it wouldn't be a blockbuster. It just wouldn't be, because there is action to it, but it wouldn't be the focal point of the film.
That's mostly Batman walking around talking
It
to the
is.
Joker.
It is. And it's fabulous. I think it's fabulous. That is what I would pick first and foremost. I would do a Red Son film. I would love to see Red Son. No disrespect to Red Son. I think it's the greatest Superman story they ever wrote. But
No, you don't like the animated one.
no,
it was
that
bad.
animated film was fucking shit.
Yeah, it was
thought-
bad.
I thought it was
That's what I was
okay
gonna
until the
say.
end. I thought like until they changed the ending more or less, like what they did with Wonder Woman.
Well, yeah,
ruined it.
they changed the beginning too. They changed a whole bunch of shit in that thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't really bother me until they got to the parts with Wonder Woman and they so drastically changed her role in the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's what kind of threw me off on that one. But up until then, I thought they were doing okay.
Yeah, I had a lot of problems with Red Son, the animated movie. The less I talk about that, the better.
Now there is a motion comic version of it out there that just does it
Oh.
beat for beat.
The motion
Yeah,
comic
that's
is
good.
wonderful. Love the motion comic. And it used to be on YouTube for the longest time.
They take it down.
I don't know, did they?
I don't know. I haven't seen it in like years, but it was there last time I looked.
Okay. Well, hopefully it's still there, kids. Go out and check that out, because that's where you want to be. But and it's kind of funny because the only other Elseworlds that I would love to see made into a film, and unfortunately would never happen. And if funny enough, spoiler alert for The Room, not for anybody in the audience, but we were actually talking about this. Were we talking about this prior to? Were we talking about Kingdom Come? Where I said Kingdom Come would be a great movie. Would it be too expensive to make?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. We did the same show. Okay. God, my memory is shit today.
Well, no, I think we were talking about it before we
Oh, were we
started
before we
recording.
started recording? Okay, that's why
Yeah,
I wanted to make sure
Rachel's
because
like, stop talking about that. You can say it on the
right,
show.
that's right, that's right. I wanted to bring it up a little bit, but yeah, Kingdom Come is another film that I think, you know what? I've just got this down here. I love. People at home can't see this, but this is how much I
Nice.
love Kingdom Come. I got the absolute Kingdom Come edition. It is spectacular. I love it. I love it so
Okay,
much.
I have a loaded question for you, though.
Okay, go for it.
How do you feel about the sequel, The Kingdom?
You know, I honestly have never read it.
You've never read it.
I've never read it.
I'd be curious to hear your opinion of it because it's one of those things where, like, you read Kingdom Come, and to me, Kingdom Come is like a masterpiece. And then you go to the sequel, and you're just like, "What the fuck is this?"
It's like The Godfather Part
Like,
3.
It's very readable. Don't get me wrong; it's
Right.
very readable. If you're a comic fan, you can get through it and be like, "Oh, that was fun." But like when you compare it side by side with like, here's the Kingdom, and here's Kingdom Come,
My
you're just like,
God.
"Woof."
Well, that
Way
doesn't
different.
make me want to read it, but
There's some fun parts in it. That's where Gog comes from in the Superman
Okay.
stories and everything, and then eventually, you know, Magog was the guy in Kingdom
yeah, he was the
Come
OG.
that caused all
Yeah.
the trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was the OG.
But yeah, it's not, again, I'm probably being crueler to it than it deserves, but the art, the writing, like everything
Right.
is just inferior to Kingdom Come, and you're like, why did they even make this?
Yeah, it's a good mystery to me.
Plus, it has one of the weirdest moments in comic book history ever. Like the quintessence picks this angry fucking dude and gives him, like, imbues him with all this power, and he just decides to go back through time and murder Superman every day and reverse through time, so he can continuously murder Superman over and over and over again.
God
Because he
damn.
goes back like one day in time every day, kills that Superman, goes back a day before, kills that Superman, goes back a day before. It's like the most insane thing ever.
Jeez.
And he was imbued with that power by Zeus and Gambit and all those bastards in the quintessence. Phantom Stranger, too, I think is in there.
Those bastard ghosts.
Bastards. Superpowered bastards.
I know.
Handing out superpowers.
I know. Oh, and before I forget, I wanted to go back and I actually wanted to tell Witty, I know you brought up the Flashpoint series, and I was going to say this, and I don't remember why I didn't butt in and say anything about it earlier, but you reminded me. I had just ordered, if you're into that sort of thing, it's called Beyond Flashpoint. But it basically describes a world where, you know, that universe didn't go away. It somehow survived. And you have to read the Beyond Flashpoint to understand why it did. And then there's, you know, further stories with Martha Wayne as the Joker. And there's a rich storyline. There's a rich world there that I actually like in terms of comics. And if they were going to make a movie, you know, you could do that. You could definitely do a Flashpoint, just stay in the Flashpoint world where the skinny Superman just wreaks havoc. And
Felt
Yeah.
bad for Cyborg in that one. He
well,
gets a raw
he gets hosed. He does get hosed.
deal.
he gets beaten.
He's just trying to be a good guy, and he
I
gets
know.
fucked up.
I know. It's like he's the only guy who was trying to do his fucking job.
It's true.
Poor guy. Poor
Well,
guy.
the Shazam kids were
Yeah, the Shazam
until
kids
Wonder
were-
Woman murdered the shit out of them.
Yeah, that was not good either. Yeah. Flashpoint is a fantastic story.
It's a great story.
I
Yeah,
love Flashpoint.
absolutely.
See, now you're gonna. That's the thing. You maybe want to go read Flashpoint again, Witty.
Yeah, it's been so long. I mean,
I know. I got absolute.
I haven't had
Flashpoint.
read a lot of books, but that was definitely one of my favorites, and the storyline
Yeah.
it's great. I mean, it's just you didn't get a proper movie out of that one. They got some inspirations here and there, but the execution was very poor. So, as a Flash fan, I'm very disappointed.
Yeah. As a Batman fan, I'm disappointed.
The TV show did Flashpoint better, and their version wasn't that great.
Oh,
either.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
The CW did a great job. Well,
I
I
think
wouldn't.
they did
quite.
everything better with less money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine that.
I was watching Eternals the other day too, and it really struck me how Makari's speed effects are so much better than the Flash too. I was like, "What the fuck? How can they not get this right?" Like, and it's not a great movie. Eternals is not a great movie, but like the super speed scenes in that, are fantastic, and like you can envision the Flash attacking somebody or speed blitzing them like that, and we're like, why couldn't we get something like that in our movie? What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen the Eternals, so I don't know.
Just look, if you can look up that one scene, just I think it's Makari attacks Icarus. Look it up on Google or
Okay.
YouTube. It's like a 2-minute sequence. You'll be like, holy shit, that's some cool super speed.
Well, I will certainly do that. And I'm going to look up a lot of different comics today. I'm actually inspired to go look up some of the Batman 66 comics now as well, because I might like to read some of that in my head.
I just want to know what a hippo call sounds like.
Right. That's what I'm
Oh my
I'm dying
God.
to know.
I don't even know what a hippo normally sounds like.
By the way, just laugh out loud.
Well, that's what
Robin, I
I
haven't
like.
done my hippo call in years, but here goes nothing.
It worked. It
Yeah.
worked.
Eureka.
Oh my God. By the
We
way,
have
I have
that is
all of them.
funny.
I have all of them in book format. So I got like these huge
Right.
books. Like each book has like 10 comics in it, or 8 comics in it, or something like that. And so I have the entire series. And by the way, I went through the entire thing because when McFarlane recently came out with a Superman action figure tied to the Batman 66 comic series, I had to go back and find out where the fuck Superman was in any of this. And I found in one issue, Clark Kent was on one page. Clark Kent, Lois, and what's the other guy's dude? Their little sidekick there.
Jim
Olsen.
Jimmy
Olsen.
Olsen.
Yeah. So the three of them were on one page of 40 issues, and somehow McFarlane came out with a Superman action figure tied to the Batman 66 comic series, where he never, ever, ever was. And if anyone can correct me on that, feel free, but I have all.
It's the super speed Biff. He's going so fast between those
Oh.
panels, you just can't see his blurry ass.
Oh boy. Well, look, gang, I think we have done a great justice to the cinematic universe. If they would only listen to our show, and they would only take our concerns seriously.
But instead, those bastards are going to film Superman Legacy in Cincinnati and Cleveland, and I'm so upset.
What? What's it got to be? Why?
I told you, I'm from Pittsburgh. I don't want to see anything
Oh,
Superman tied to Cincinnati. I know
Cincinnati.
that, like, the originators are from Cleveland and everything. I know that. That is a knife in my side at all times. But anyway,
Well,
I don't know. I just don't see Cincinnati or Cleveland as metropolis, but that's just me.
yeah, it really screams New York or LA, doesn't it?
I feel like it does. They're a major sprawling metropolis.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even like
Well.
Atlanta might work. Like
Yeah.
a
Not-
huge.
I don't think it screams LA.
You don't think
LA
it
is
screams
its own
Yeah.
unique. The LA is its own unique animal. There are people there with wearing animals on their feet, like walking around the city. It's not like New York. Just because it's a big city doesn't make it look like a metropolis or a
Hey, look.
Gotham or a New York.
I lived in Hollywood for a year. You don't have to tell me.
Chicago looks like metropolis. Just
Chicago, yeah.
Yeah,
But Chicago looks more like a
that
Gotham.
works.
But yeah.
By the way, you want to hear a great scene of LA and Hollywood and Beverly Hills and all of that is in Beverly Hills Cop. When Eddie Murphy is walking down Rodeo Drive, phenomenal scene because he's just laughing. He's doing that Eddie Murphy laugh because he's just people watching, and he's just laughing as he walks down the street. Fantastic scene.
So it sounds
Bet
like
you
you're giving.
I bet you no one thought they were going to hear Beverly Hills Cop brought up on today's show.
Right. That's a first, folks. Are you giving our audience homework to watch Beverly Hills Cop?
Beverly Hills Cop's fantastic, and I heard they're coming out with another one now.
Really?
A
With Eddie Murphy.
series.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
that's
a,
cool.
it's a
I-
series?
I'll watch that.
Yeah, on Netflix, I believe. I think it's going to be a limited series, maybe.
Yeah,
I would
know.
absolutely watch that.
I'll watch that.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Cyrus, and how may I help you?
All right. Let's think about taking this thing around the horn and getting everybody's last word. And as per usual, let's start with you, Retmus. Take us to church, pal.
Don't really have a whole lot to say today. I'm just kind of tired. Just hanging in. Don't have any major words of inspiration today. Just be happy. You know, that's about it, really. Sorry.
It's all good, dude. They can't all be winners.
Yeah.
It's all good. No, you're good, brother. All right, dude. Thank you very much for your time and your wisdom today. And let's move over to Biff. You're next up on my list. Tell it like it is,
Retpmus,
pal.
you sound exactly like AB sounded yesterday.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
really?
For different reasons.
Oh my god.
Because we were doing our other podcast yesterday, and
Yeah.
AB had the phenomenal idea at our age to
Jesus.
get up at 4 a.m. to watch a wrestling pay-per-view
Yeah.
in Perth, Australia. And by the time we got to the point of recording our podcast, he was a zombie. So lack of sleep is not good.
Yeah.
Um,
And I did want to say you were correct. I was incorrect. It is Beverly Hills Cop 4 coming out on Netflix July 3rd,
okay.
2024. I thought it was a series for some reason,
Okay.
but you're right.
And by the way, I did ask the Google, and Gotham by Gaslight is available on numerous streaming services for about $3.99. But it is not. When I clicked on the Max link that you found, Sekju, it said link is no longer valid.
I said that wasn't good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So if you want to see Gotham by Gaslight in animated form, which I find odd, you can go to Amazon Prime. If you want to see it in theaters, please
Open
lobby Hollywood like we did today and get Gotham by Gaslight in theaters. And that's it for me.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, Sekju, give us your day's word, pal.
My day's word. Don't take yourself so seriously if you can. I found myself this week I spent a good chunk of this week very pissed off irrationally for no reason other than my phone wasn't picking up 5G service and I pay for 5G service. So I was getting annoyed with that. I spent like 12 hours on the phone with Verizon, was like pissed off because there was no resolution, put multiple SIM cards in my phone, did all this bullshit, was all worked up. And when I sit back and think about it, I'm like, why? What's it matter? I still had phone service. Everything still worked fine. It was just the principle of the fact that I was paying for something that I wasn't getting and I was mad about it. But it was a stupid thing to be mad about. And it was all because I was taking myself too seriously. So the best advice I can give you, don't take yourself too seriously. Think about whether or not the things that you're getting upset about are actually worth your time to get upset about and go from there. Because I wasted a lot of time this week being upset over what amounts to nothing.
It's good advice, man. I know I could use that sometimes myself. I sweat the small stuff on a regular basis.
This new phone is sweet though, and I can't wait to play Retmus's game on it.
Don't sweat the small stuff is one of the all-time happiness drivers. If you can follow that.
It's hard though. It's very easy to sweat the small stuff.
You know what I found?
Oh, it is.
I went through a very tragic time in my life where, my wife had her first chemo treatment on the exact same day that 12 hours prior, her only child passed away. And I can tell you, as tragic as that is, that taught me a wonderful lesson that day. That when you go through something like that, the small stuff just rolls off.
Yeah.
It's just rolls off.
Well said, pal.
Look, Biffy Downer at the last
Downer.
word brings the room down.
Well, I'll tell you how we're going to get things back around. I'm going to turn it over to Witty, who's going to give us the bottom line.
Yeah, that's a tough one to follow, but it was great being in your presence once again. I've been away for quite a while now, and surprisingly, I had a lot of fun with this one since I'm not a big comic book reader. I mean, it's been years since I read my last comic, but this was a lot of fun. as you guys all know, I'm more of a cartoon and movie person. So
Yeah.
this this was a bit of a homework, but in a good way, So I gotta say, this was a great idea from you, AB, and I'm looking forward for the next one. I mean, this has been a good series. You've been each and every week you've been giving a different assignment, and we all have to search for a different answer. And it's been a good series in a way, and I'm really looking forward to the next one, and yeah, next I will look for that movie Gotten by Gaslight next, because
Yeah.
Biff really picked my interest there.
Yeah. I'm curious to watch it too, but I'm gonna wait till I can get my book in and read it first, and then I'll watch it. So
And I think, Biff, if you watch it, you'll be surprised by how violent some of the DC animation can get. Have you ever
Okay.
seen Apocalypse War?
No.
Oh, they literally show Darkseid parademons ripping people in half, like dismembering major heroes and stuff. So, like, there is it might surprise you. Is
Okay.
all I'm saying.
No, I'll give it a shot. It's $3.99. I think I could pull that out of the couch cushions.
There you go. I will think you'll enjoy it. I don't think you'll regret the $4 minus a penny.
I know Witty said something about what we're going to do next time, and I had thought about that, and I don't know if I'm going to go with this or not, but I found this in the Walgreens, of all places, next door, as I was walking through, as I usually do, and I thought, wouldn't this be fun to do with the gang if we were all together again? And I don't know how many of you guys have ever done Mad Libs,
Superhero Mad Libs.
right? But
That looks awesome.
but we can all take turns giving a different word, right? And I'll give you a thing, right? So a Mad Lib would be, the host would be me by default at the book, comes up and says, all right, so this story is called Hot and Cold, and I need an adjective, a noun, a person in the room, a noun, a verb, a noun, an adjective. So we go around robin, basically, and just say, a Sekju, give me a verb. All right, Biff, give me a noun. And you could be as straight-laced or as wacky as you want to be with your answer. And whatever you put in that line, I've got to write then the Mad Lib out really quick, and then read a short story about our co-written adventure, I guess is the best way to put it, to humorous delight. Does that about
Yes,
summarize it?
I'm down.
Yeah. Hopefully that about summarizes it, but I don't know. Well, maybe we'll do this next time. Maybe we won't. Maybe I'll give you guys a shorter homework assignment this time so we can get to some Mad Libs. That'd be fun to do. But yeah. I think that's it, guys.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
All right. Until next time.
That's right. We want to thank all of you for taking the time to be with us today. Get on our website, AtlantisAfterDark.com. Grab some cool swag from our merch store. Get on Discord, talk directly with us, and then hit that subscribe button because you know you want to. For Biff, for Retpmus, for Sekju and Witty, we'll see you all right here next time for another fantabulous episode of Double AD. So long, everybody.